Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Small Group. Today we are talking about messes that we've made, and so I decided to do a messy cooking contest, and we've got some messy chefs behind us. They're going to create some wonderful creations. We're going to try them and declare a winner. All right, so we have our delicious creations in front of us, and these look pretty messy. So I'm gonna have our chefs explain what they make, and I'm gonna try each one. So start right here in the middle with Jason's creation. Jason, tell me what you got.
It's two classics melded together. You got your sloppy joe, but you also got your grilled cheese. Both very messy sandwiches. So I took both and put them together. So you got a sloppy grilled cheese.
I can already tell you this one is super messy because it is oozing out the sides. If you can. Absolutely amazing. If you can see it, half of it fell out on the plate there. You should have gotten me something. But you know what? I'm not going to clean my face or my beard. We're going to just keep on going to the next round.
Your mom wants you.
Okay, well, that's you. Also, it appears to be a sloppy joe, so explain what you made there, please.
Yes, great minds think alike. So I thought it was the only way I might could keep up with Jason in one of these contests. So I went with a super sloppy joe, which is sloppy joe with coleslaw, pickles, and then a little breakfast in there with a fried egg, and then there's some hot sauce and cheese.
All right.
What
are you doing?
I can't get it up. It's
Here we
so
go.
messy. See how messy it is?
There are 1,001 flavors on this. I'm not sure which one to
It's a
enjoy.
mess of flavors, Nathan.
Oh, a mess of flavors. I'm sorry. Okay. Very good. Definitely very messy. You know, my hands are covered in it. But we got one last creation. A little bit of dessert from Kelly Davenport here. Please, Kelly, explain what we got.
Well, unlike great minds, creative minds think for themselves.
Okay, very good, very good.
So what I've made for you here is just a basic, what's it called? A s'mores dip.
Okay.
So you have graham cracker, chocolate, marshmallows, there's some butter in there.
Very, very ooey gooey there.
It burned.
Very hot.
A little hot. Very, very good. But you know what? I didn't get a good enough taste. We're going to do one more here.
No double dip.
No. All right. Now we've got to make a decision. We're going to base it on how messy it was, how delicious it was, how inventive it was. I must say, most inventive is probably this one right here with the multiple layers to sloppy joe. But I'm going to say based on messiness, based on deliciousness, I'm going to go with Jason Collins on the grilled cheese and the sloppy joe. Got to give it up there. So you guys talk about which one you think you would have enjoyed most. We're going to move on. Now, have you ever made such a big mess that you weren't sure how you were ever going to get clean? Let me ask you this. Have you ever done something that you felt so guilty about that you thought it would cover you forever? Like a mess that you could never wash clean? Have you ever felt like the problem child? The one who always messes it up? Do you ever feel like everyone looks at you and they only see your mistakes? I know I have. Now, maybe you haven't, but I bet you know what it's like to do something that made a mess of everything, and you were terrified that someone would find out. That your parents would learn that you broke the rules, or your teacher would find out that you cheated, or your friend would find out what you said about them behind their back. We all know what guilt feels like, but for many of us, myself included, we also know what shame feels like. See, guilt is when you do something bad, and so you feel bad about the bad thing you did. Guilt leads us to change and to not make the same mistakes again. But shame is deeper than guilt. Shame is the feeling that your mistakes cover you and that they define who you are. That shame is the labels that many of us wear. The bad kid, the screw up. Guilt is saying, I did something wrong. Shame is saying, I am wrong. And even though we should feel guilt when we do something bad, we were never meant to live in shame. Because God's love is bigger than our shame. You see, this is why Jesus came to earth. Jesus came to clean up the mess that you and I made. He came to wash us clean and give us a new identity, His child. Jesus once met a woman who had a medical condition that made her an outcast in her society. No one would ever choose to be around her, and so the only natural thing to do is to believe that maybe God doesn't even love me. Maybe I'm broken. Maybe I'm unlovable. See, that's what shame feels like. So one day when Jesus is walking by, she wants Jesus to fix this problem that made her untouchable, unlovable. So she thinks, all I have to do is touch the edge of his robe and I'll be healed. And so she does, and immediately she knows something is different. She's changed. You see, this is what happens when you meet Jesus. When we get close to him, we are changed. Our sins are forgiven, our mistakes are wiped clean. And Jesus gives us a new identity. This woman immediately begins praising Jesus, and then Jesus says something powerful to this woman. Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering. He calls her daughter, or my child. Jesus is saying, you're no longer defined by your problems because you are my child. You are loved by me, and your faith in me has healed you. You no longer have to suffer. You see, this is what Jesus says to you and me. You aren't a problem, a mistake, a screw up. You are my child. I love you and I have a better life plan for you than you could ever imagine. You just have to follow me. This is the answer to shame. We stop believing that our mistakes are what define us, and we believe that the love of God is what defines us. He's the one who determines who we are. So today in your groups, talk about how we can overcome our shame, and then we'll move on.